Is there a simple way to do Qigong all day long? There is, and I'm going to show it to you today in this walk and talk video. I'm Sifu Anthony, and I'm here at a state park, or maybe a county park, someplace in Southern California. I'm on my camper van Odyssey, so I'm parked here for the night. We're going to go explore together, and I've got my co-pilot here too. Say hi, Sergeant Pepper. This is Sergeant Pepper. In case you don't know him, he's more famous than I am. I want to just quickly sidetrack in here because it's a beautiful little grove here. So I'll show you on the camera. We're going to talk about the subject, but I will get distracted and sidetracked with the beautiful scenery, so I hope that's okay. I'm on this little lake here. I think it's a pond. I don't know if it's a pond or a lake. It's pretty small, so let's call it a pond. I don't know what they call it. Okay, so practicing Qigong all day long. Now, if you know me and my teaching, this may come as a surprise because I advocate short and sweet sessions. And I still advocate that. I'm not arguing otherwise. In fact, for years I have, really offered an alternative to teachers who say that, oh, well, if you want to get results with Qigong, you have to practice a couple hours a day. Sorry, Sergeant Pepper is on ascent and he doesn't want to walk at the moment. So some Qigong teachers will say, okay, if you want results, you have to practice, 3-4 hours a day, especially if you're sick or you've got something serious going on. And that is not my own experience with Qigong in terms of healing myself, and that has not been my experience teaching thousands of students since 2005. My experience is that the quality of the session is the number one thing. It's the most important thing. You have to get the quality high. And from there, you can try to raise the quantity as long as the quality stays high. So if you're just trying to dive in and do 3-4 hours a day of Qigong, first of all, that's very hard for the average person to do. 95% of people will just fail with that method. And anyway, it's hard to keep the quality high when you are sort of just trying to get as many hours of Qigong in as you can, because it becomes a chore. So I'm going to show you a way that we can sort of sidestep that issue. I still advocate short and sweet, powerful sessions. If you are my student and you've learned my method, then we're still talking about the 5-phase routine. If you learn from somebody else, well, you'll see how to fit this in, but still, this would be sort of a separate, let's call it an a la carte version of Qigong, what I'm going to teach you today, and you can put it into your toolbox someplace and see how it works for you. I want to take a moment to read the signs. It's very important to pay attention to these things. So, caution, watch for rattlesnakes. We will definitely watch for rattlesnakes as we walk here. Okay, so with that caveat, understanding that this is sort of a way to get more out of your Qigong, your existing Qigong practice. This will not replace your existing Qigong practice. Then let's talk about the secret of One Finger Zen. Some of you have learned this ancient Shaolin art from me. There are many different versions, and the hand form, which looks like this, appears in many different schools of Qigong. I'm going to talk more about this in a moment. So if you've learned, for example, Baduan, which is the 8 pieces of brocades, there's an exercise in there that it's the shooting arrows one, that uses the One Finger Zen hand posture in many schools of Qigong, not just my own. And if you've done some sort of Shaolin based Kung Fu, then you may have learned the One Finger hand posture in one of your Kung Fu forms. So it exists in a bunch of different places. In my experience, most people don't really seem to know the secret of the hand posture, and I'm going to do my best to teach it to you today. It's not easy in a video, but I'll give you some tips to help you discover the secret of this hand posture. It's very, very powerful. It's a bit like a mudra, which is one of these hand postures, these energetic hand postures that you find in many meditative traditions, and it's incredibly powerful when you get it right. It's like hand Qigong, but there's something almost magical about it. It's a really, really cool technique. I'm just sort of getting the background in here. Pretty nice little area that I'm in. Let's explore over here while watching out for rattlesnakes, of course. So the One Finger Zen hand posture comes from the Shaolin Temple, although who knows where it came from before that. I've heard talk of it coming from Tibetan lamas and other places, who knows. But one thing is for sure is that, we're going to go sidestep here. There's some people coming. So one thing is for sure is that it is a powerful technique. It is found in both the Qigong and the Shaolin tradition, so you'll find it in Kung Fu traditions as well. And it's something that it's pretty simple to get right once you get the hang of it. You can just, well, I'm gonna adjust that. I'm not gonna just say that it's simple. I'm gonna say that you have a better chance with the tips I'll give you in terms of getting the secret of the technique. So what are those secrets? What am I talking about? First of all, the hand posture has to be correct. So correct means that you have to find it for yourself. I'm showing you my version. Here's the bent version and here's the straight version. Hopefully you can see that. I think this is a good background for that. Bent, I'll show it from a few different angles. And then straight, it's hard to get with holding the camera, but do my best. So the problem that I see in a lot of people who use this hand posture is that it's too tense, something like this, where it's just very tense. You can see the tension in my hand and the angles are off. Or they do it something like this, they clench it a lot like this. Or the alignment is off, they sort of ball the fist, that's no good. Or the alignment is just off in some other weird way. I've seen my students do all kinds of kooky things with this hand posture. So I am not the type of person that always feels like the form is the number one thing, and don't get me wrong, I think that I always encourage my students to butcher the form, but when it comes to the One Finger Zen hand posture, it's worth experimenting and spending some time to try to get the feel of it, because that seems to be what helps unlock the Qi. And there's a few other things that you'll need to do as well to unlock the Qi. Okay, I need to pay attention to Pepper because I want to pay attention to rattlesnakes. I'm in a sort of green tunnel here, and God knows what he's getting into. So let's go back this way. Come on, Pop, let's go. Okay, so One Finger Zen, this hand posture is something that you're going to get the hang of. You're going to use it with the correct form, correct meaning what feels good to you with some guidelines. And then you're going to use it, guess what, while walking. So if you're wondering where I'm going with all of this, you're going to use it while walking. I'm doing it right now. I've got my One Finger Zen hand posture. It's hard to show you, but here's my hand swinging with the One Finger Zen posture as I'm walking. I obviously can't do the other hand because I'm holding the camera, but you can do both hands, and you should do both hands while you're walking. You should be walking anyway. It's good for you. Everybody should be getting more steps. And you can simply add this to your routine to get sort of more mileage from the routine that you're already doing. So you see this nice grove in the background here. It's a pretty cool area that I'm in. So, okay, I keep getting distracted by flowers and lakes and things. Can you see that? These walk and talks are still a bit of an experiment. I hope you like them. They're certainly fun for me because I'm going for a walk with the dog anyway, and I can just talk about a subject like this. Okay, so back to One Finger Zen. Oh, there's a nice clearing here that you can see. How do you get the hand posture right? Well, the number one thing is to experiment. I've had students experiment while they're watching TV. It doesn't have to be in a Qigong session. You experiment while you're walking. So you're basically going to tuck 4 fingers and leave 1 finger open. It's okay if this finger is not perfectly straight. Some people, they can't bend the other 4 fingers without bending the index finger a little bit. So that's okay. That's not how my hand works. But this is one of the secrets. You have to find what fits your hand, not some other person's hand. I've seen pictures of masters and their hand in various postures, but that's a Chinese master from 50 years ago, an old black and white photograph. That's not so useful for me. What I need is to find what works for my hand. So you need to do the same, but you're going to tuck 4 fingers, try to leave that index finger straight, and then try to keep the palm relatively flat. You see how my palm is pretty flat? So don't ball the fist, and don't make it too tense either. So that's just too much tension in the fist, or off to an angle like this sometimes you'll see. So you have to find the sweet spot experimenting. You need to create some dexterity in the fingers as well, sort of teach them this posture, and then experiment. You also notice there's a little bit of space between my fingers. I'm not trying to hold them together or tuck everything perfectly. Okay, so it's loose. The whole thing is loose, and yet there is an extension in the index finger. And you should experiment with both the straight and the bent wrists. Okay, maybe these flowers would be a good background. This is a straight version. This is the bent version. Okay? While you're walking, you can actually use either. Before I was showing you, I was just had my hand sort of loosely relaxed by my side as I'm walking, and it's in the One Finger Zen posture. So I think you can see where this is going. The idea is to feel the chi in the index finger as you're walking. Okay? So feeling the chi is not the be-all, end-all of Qigong, but it's certainly important. And if you have not felt chi in your Qigong practice and you've been practicing for, say, more than a year, then we need to correct that. In my experience, virtually all of my students, very close to 100%, I would say somewhere between 95 and 100% of my students can feel chi after, really, it's usually after a couple months of practice, but certainly after a year. They have to practice, of course. I mean, if you don't practice, it doesn't count. But if you're practicing my method, then you will feel chi. And I've been surprised over the years how many people they've been doing Qigong for even a decade or even more, and they're still not sure if they feel chi. The good news is that using the method that I teach, we can get to the bottom of it. We just need to go back and correct some mistakes in your practice, including mistakes in your thinking. And once we do that, you will start to feel the chi. So this will be a bit of an experiment for some of you. If you can already feel the chi, then this exercise will be very easy. You will be able to feel the chi as you walk in the index finger. Now, there's some more secrets here, though. The walking is part of it. So walking is one of the most natural things that we do as humans. It's just, we're born to walk. And when you walk, if you walk in a relaxed way, you're breathing naturally, so you don't make any effort to regulate your breathing. Just breathe naturally, walk. And what happens, especially if you go for a bit of a walk like I'm doing today, you will get into a mild meditative state. And that's important for what we're doing here. So the meditative state is part of this. If you know my teaching, you know that a big part of my teaching is getting into a meditative state before we do any dynamic Qigong exercises. So here we're kind of doing it all at once. We're just going for a walk, which you've been doing for years. You're forming loose One Finger Zen hand postures on each hand. You're breathing, but not regulating your breathing. We call it spontaneous breathing. So you're just breathing as you walk. And you're finding a nice pace, not too fast, not too slow with your walking, while gently forming these One Finger Zen hand postures. And that should help you feel chi. Now, if that doesn't help you feel chi, you can try this gentle visualization. It should be very, very gentle. I don't normally teach visualization. It gets us off target sometimes, and I don't want you to get carried away with it, but I'll mention it as a trick to help you feel the chi. You've got your One Finger Zen hand posture sort of pointing to the ground roughly as you're walking, and you're swinging your arms. That's important. Swing the arms. And imagine that your fingers are kind of like squirt guns or fire hoses or something, like a faucet. It's just shooting some water out the index finger. And I'd be sort of making lines on the dirt as I walk with my index fingers, right? So you just imagine that both of your index fingers, or you can try one at a time, it's like a hose or a faucet or something like that, and it's just shooting some water out of it. And that will help to get the feel of the chi flowing. Now, you don't need to maintain that visualization, and in fact, I don't think you should. That's just, let's call it a trick to sort of get the hang of the technique and to get the feel for it. So, hi. There's people riding bikes and stuff. So, use this visualization, but don't overuse it. Just use it to get the hang of it. Use your breathing spontaneously, but don't regulate your breathing. Walk naturally, but not too fast. Form the hand postures, but not too tense. And I think you'll be quite amazed by it. So you'll be amazed that you can sort of tune into your chi at any point during the day. And here's another view here. This is a good thing. It helps us to be mindful. In general is good, but we're being mindful of the chi and getting the chi flowing down to the index finger, which is a good place to get it flowing anyway. That happens to be your large intestine meridian, but that is not so important as much as just getting the chi flowing down and up the arms, which is what's happening here. that is generally a good thing, and we can think of it as like a crazy straw. Remember those crazy straws from when I was a kid? You suck in one part and it spins through the whole straw. Your energy system is a bit like that. Your system is a big crazy straw. So if we move chi in one area, we are moving chi in other areas. So by moving chi down to the index finger, we're also moving chi through the other 12 primary meridians and the 8 extraordinary meridians. So that's a good thing. So you can implement this into your daily life. Like, even now, even talking and walking like this, it's a little warm, it's a little hot, the sun is glaring. Even with all these distractions, if I just take a moment to relax, breathe, and walk, even just with my one hand, I can feel the chi in my index finger. And if you play with this, you should get the hang of it. You start to be able to feel the chi. It's a crowded road here. Morning. Oh, that's cool. That's an electric bike, I think. It's quiet. I didn't hear him coming. So you should be able to feel the chi in your hands, and by doing this, I'm sure you can see how you can increase the mileage of your practice. If you're already practicing every day, well, you're also walking every day. Maybe you should walk more, but you are walking every day. You may not be walking in a place as beautiful as this, although you should, but if you walk the dog, oh, by the way, one tip for dog walkers, I have a little latch on my leash that I actually latch to my belt, so I can be hands-free when I walk him. Now, I can tug on the leash or shorten it or lengthen it if I need to take care of him, but this actually helps with this technique because normally I wouldn't have a camera and I can send the chi to both hands while walking, and that's a big help. So experiment with this technique, see how it feels. Don't rush it, be patient. You may need to try it for a couple weeks before you get the hang of it, but once you get the hang of it, you basically have this easy way to tune into your chi all day long at any time whenever you're walking, which is a great thing. Hi. So try it, and you can give me some feedback. So you can leave me a comment someplace and let me know, can you feel the chi? How did this technique work for you? And then I'm also interested in how it works over time. So by practicing this technique over time, how does it feel? So I hope this is helpful. It's an easy way for you to get more mileage out of your Qigong and to do it all day long. And I look forward to doing more walk and talks with you in the future. Take care.